All right, guys, today is Friday, September 16th, 2022. Today marks 22 days I have left to finish my 55 for an upcoming event. It's going slow, to say the least, but some of the work that I'm having to do is a little bit on the intricate side and tedious, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not enjoying it much, but I worked pretty late last night. I am super sore today. But anyway, you guys had already seen I had the door hung on the car, but all the vent window stuff is in, which I'm going to have to take off this piece of stainless and slip the rubber piece out here to put the door glass in. But I am waiting on parts from H&H to come in. It's the tracks to bolt to the bottom of the window. And then that way I can go ahead and get the door glasses in it. And let's see, I've already got this piece restored and relined with felt that goes in here. I mean, there's lots of little intricate stuff that had to be done, and it just takes time. But here's a sound that Tri-5 owners know. Right there. I could be in a parking lot somewhere, and if I heard that sound, I would know immediately there's a Tri-5 Chevy car there somewhere. I got my customized door strikers installed. Everything's pretty much set up. I still need to put the door rubber on here. Anyway, last night I worked on stainless steel parts for hours. It took a lot of work. I had to do all the stainless for around the wing glass and the belt line last night. None of that stuff had been done. There was a dent, pretty big dent back here. I had to fix that. The other stuff was okay. Had to do a little bit of heavy-duty sanding to get some of the scratches out, but I got those other two pieces that go on down there. But anyway, I've got it all finished up. Got all the door handle, crank mechanism, wing window crank mechanism, all the hardware's in. So usually you'll tear one of these cars apart that somebody's been into before and half the screws and stuff aren't in there. But the window regulators are in, and I've got these tracks in. I just need to waiting on the parts to come in so I can get the windows in. And here's definitely something you do not want to forget if you're working on a hard top convertible, or I don't know if Nomad has these or not. Nomad might have this. There's a little roller in here that goes here. I call it a short one and a long one, and the short one goes in here, and you need to put that in before you put the door glass in. And then there's a long one that goes on here that I'm not going to put on until after the door glass is in. Now, for whatever reason, they didn't put an outer felt strip across here. And I always thought that was kind of strange because you can see down in the door and it's a big gap. So what I have done is I bought two felt kits and was planning on going to try to put a felt strip across here to make it look more finished. But I'm going to have to drill holes into this stainless belt line back here to do that because I'm going to rivet those on. But actually, I'm going to screw these front ones on because there's no space here like there is on the back piece. This back piece has a channel in it that has clearance for that. But anyway, what I want to do is I want to put the door glass in the car first and get everything adjusted where everything's working properly and sealing. Then I'm going to lay the felt strip down in there and check to see if it'll go, and I'm pretty sure it's going to work because the guide back here, or the track, which I've already relined with felt, it is spaced out about the same thickness as a felt strip here, and then the felt strip that's in the wing window sticks out. So I think when it's laid in there, it'll work. But to me, it just looks unfinished on these cars. But it's something that I'm going to try and see if it works. But anyway, I'm getting there. But I've got a perfect door gap on this door as well. Nothing spaced out, like it's all even all the way around. The gap in the car just really was the way to go, man. Usually I panel paint parts and just put them on a car and align it the best I can and call it a day. But this car, I went above and beyond and either ground and welded or, added weld and ground. But it was a it was a days and days and days of work, but man, the overall finish is just so awesome. So I'm happy with it. So the last thing I worked on last night before I gave up was this. Gave up for the night, I should say. This piece of stainless is the one that goes inside the car, and so my GoPro battery died just then. Anyway, this piece of stainless here goes on the inside of the car, up there along the bottom of that, and it hides the hardware for the headliner bows and also the staples where the headliner's tacked to the tack strips. So I still have to do the long one that goes across the back window, and the other one of these. I still have to do all of the back window stainless, but I don't think any of that is dented. I think all I gotta do is sand it and polish it. I've still got one more lower windshield stainless piece to do, and I still have to polish the other one. But I am out of 1500 grit paper and 1200 grit paper, and I need to go get some. So I am hoping, crossing my fingers, that O'Reilly's has it in stock. If not, I'm gonna have to make a trip to Tulsa to the paint store, and I'm not looking forward to it. But. So this piece had 3 dents in it, and I had to, hammer them out on the back side, and then file it, and then sand it. And I started buffing on this end down here. You can kind of tell that part's buff, this part's not. But I had to stop because I need to pull out my bench grinder and that table, because I can't get that long piece in there because of the hot water tank place, or closet. That thing's on casters, so I'm going to have to pull it out here, and I may have to move a bunch of crap, and it's going to be a big mess. But I need to get the car out first, so I'm getting ready to do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. Which really, I ought to probably go to the store first and see about getting the sandpaper, because then I can roll on. But as soon as the tracks come in from UPS or FedEx, whatever they're coming in on, I can get the door glasses in. I need to pull this belt line strip back off. I need to go back over it and polish it again, but I just need to hit it with the rouge. But I need to put the tack strip on here, or the felt strip on there, which I rivet on. I've already got it on the other side. And then put that back on, and then I've already got these channel pieces here already sanded and polished, and I've got them relined with the felt. I've got these corner pieces redone and lined with felt. But I mean, it's lots of tedious stuff. Hardtops are so different from a sedan. It takes a lot more effort because of all the intricate little parts, and especially the wing window stainless. You got to put this piece on before this piece goes on, and this has to be there before you put this on. I mean, it's quite the mess, really. Now, I do not have a video on doing these wing window seals. Somebody's asked me that, I think, a couple of times, but I rebuilt these wing windows. I took them all apart, removed the old seal, and these strips of stainless can be knocked off with a little piece of wood on the bottom and a little small hammer, and you can slide those off. And there's one on the back and one on the front. And I took those off, and I actually replaced one of them with a sedan. I can't remember if it was the back side or... I can't remember. But anyway, I had another piece of stainless. I am pretty sure it was off a sedan wing window that was nice. And I think I had to cut it down. I don't remember. But anyway, I've got those sanded and polished and put back on. Now I blasted the window frames and all the track piece, and I just painted it with Krylon flat black. And then I put the stainless back on and put the seal in. But I done that years ago, like 6-7 years ago. I don't even remember how long ago. So I don't have any video of doing that. Those are not fun. I've never been a big fan of the reproduction seals. They never seem to fit right, and they don't look good when they're done. But and every time I've ever rebuilt a wing window, you still have the whistle coming through from the wind. So unless you're a total badass, I don't think you're going to be able to do it without getting a without getting a whistle. I don't like the one-piece side glass on a hardtop. I like it on a sedan. It looks right on a sedan, but to me, I don't like it on a hardtop because of the way the stainless is and everything. But anyway, I'm happy with it. I mean, it's coming along really, really nice. The only aftermarket window parts or door parts that I'm actually using is those track pieces that I had to order from H&H. My regulators are all original. The wing window mechanism's original. All the vent window frames original. This is where it comes into play of doing actual restoration. The restoration is where you go back and rebuild the original parts instead of just buying the stuff out of a catalog and bolting it on. Nothing wrong with that, but you know, it's more expensive to buy the parts than it is for me to spend the time and work on it. It's just been slow progress because stainless steel takes forever for me to get it done, and I very much dislike doing stainless steel. Some people like it, I do not. But anyway, I am hoping by the end of the week, or end of next week, it'll have the front clip on it besides the hood, and have all the stainless and the door glasses and the side trim and all that stuff in it. I've got lots of little tedious things to do. I still need to paint the inlays on the door spear and the long quarter molding and the rear paint dividers, so all that stuff needs to be masked off. I need to check my long quarter moldings and my door spears for scratches and scuffs because they've been, you know, moved around in the house several times and they may have developed a couple of scratches, so I may have to spot polish those before I paint the inserts on them, but those will have to be masked off and then put on. What else? The inside of the inner fenders and the bottom of the splash apron on the front and the square panels that screw in back here at the back of the inner fender to the body, I need to Raptor line those. They are already painted with this trim black color on the top side. I just need to do the Raptor liner on the bottom of it to protect from rock chips and stuff. I do believe, though, the splash apron, you know, the very end of it is painted body color to go to the fender, but I think the part that goes under the radiator, I need to paint that trim black. I do not think I painted that. I don't remember. I have to go dig in my shed and get that panel out of there. So I may have to put trim black that and then Raptor line it, which I may go ahead and Raptor line everything and then wait a couple days and then put masking tape on it and spray the trim black on that part. But it's just little things, but it's going to take a little longer to do the door spears and quarter molding paint and the rear paint divider because it's base coat clear coat, and I'm going to have to put an etching primer in there and let it dry and then go back and lightly scuff it with a gray Scotch-Brite and then paint it base coat and let it kick off, put a couple coats on, let it kick off, and then I have to put clear coat on it. So it's going to be very time consuming to do the trim inlays, but if you've never painted inlays on trim, it's not fun. It's another one of those deals that's very tedious. You got to be paying attention when you're doing it. I use the vinyl 3M tape, and I've already started on one of these rear paint dividers. These are reproductions, and they come with the white paint in there, and I'm changing them to the Galaxy Gray Pearl that I'm putting in the inserts on the long moldings. But so I go around everything with that blue tape and then put the blue painter's tape on the outside of it. Now the biggest lesson I learned from doing trim back in the 90s when I was in my 20s, when you paint one, it's best to try to get that tape off there while the paint's not dry, because after it dries sometimes it will pull paint and all on an edge and you'll get a rough looking edge. But even if you prep it and do everything you're supposed to do, so it's not fun. I'm not looking forward to it, and that's why I still haven't done it yet, because I keep putting it off. I'm doing all this other little crap, but it'll get down to the wire and I'll be rocking and rolling. So right now I'm already working a lot later than I usually do. I usually quit about 5 o'clock and have dinner, and well, I shower and then have dinner, and then I'm done for the night. But last week or so I've been trying to put in quite a few more hours. So I do have the rear window regulators. They're all painted now, and I still need to grease them, but I'm going to wait to grease them before I put them in the quarter. I'm not going to have them laying there with grease on them and get it all over everything and collect a lot of dust. Somebody asked me, I don't remember who it was, what grease I use. Now this is what I do. I don't care what anybody else does. I've got spray lithium grease and this white motor assembly grease right here. And I take a little bowl and I put this in there and I spray a whole bunch of that white lithium in there, and then I mix it up. And then I use a brush, like a paintbrush, a small one, and I apply it that way. I usually go in here in these hard to reach areas and I'll spray with the straw on the end of the spray lithium, and I'll spray it deep up inside them spots. Then I go back and brush it all over everywhere else and get it on the gear teeth and all that, and the rollers, and I put it in the tracks and everything. But that's just what I've done for the last probably 20 years, and it's just what I like to use, but I know everybody's different. I remember taking one car apart one time. It was a four-door I'd drug in. It hadn't been off the road but about 6 or 7 years, and those windows were hard as hell to roll up and down in that car. So I took all the guts out of the door, and somebody had used regular motor or regular grease, like wheel bearing grease, on all that stuff in there, and it had gotten hard and got so much stuff caked in it that it was like I had to scrape it off the flat blade screwdriver. It was a mess. And then after I, cleaned everything and re-lubricated it, they worked pretty nice after that. But again, everybody's different, but that's just what I do. You can get, spray lithium in a can. It has a ball bearing in it, so you can shake it up, and it has a straw, and you can shoot it on there through the straw, or you can take the straw off, and spray it. But it works really nice. But anyway. What else? I guess that's it, guys. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I probably need to go ahead and run to the parts store and see if I can get some sandpaper. I need some 1200 and 1500 grit Velcro DA, and I'm not even sure O'Reilly's carries that down here. I really don't want to drive to Tulsa to the paint store, and I may have to, and that's going to take time out of my day. So if that's the case, I may do that tomorrow when I, first thing in the morning, try to get up there right when they open. And that way I can get back and still get a full day in instead of leaving now and wasting half my day, you know what I mean? So anyway, I am going to get to work and see how much further I can get, I guess. But I got lots of other stuff done and ready to go on the car. I just have to put other stuff on first. So it's like a method to the madness. All right, guys. So my window track guides came in today from H&H. Look like they're galvanized. So I'm pretty happy. So at that point I went in and got my brand new side glass kit and pulled everything out of the packages and opened it up, and look what's already screwed to the window. Brand new. Already had them. How wonderful. The other funny thing is, let me just show you. So here's the lower piece that actually goes on the bottom of the window right here. And guess what? It's on there too. How awesome is that? So it's one of them instances when you get done building a car and you have leftover parts and they're like, that's kind of how it happens sometimes. Unbelievable. So when these first came in, I bought these, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I don't remember. And I pulled them out of the box and I just kind of looked them over to make sure, the glass wasn't broken or anything. And that was pretty much it. And I put them back in. So this is the first time actually unwrapping them completely and checking them out. But so I spent 50 something bucks on these that I didn't need. And I don't remember what I paid for those parts right there, but spare parts, man. Well, I gotta tell you, these ones that I had bought from H&H a long time ago, years ago, I believe these are stainless steel. So, these aren't gonna rust out. This is pretty common on the originals. The bottoms of these channels will be rotted out, but this being stainless, wouldn't rust. So I think that's a pretty good part, reproduction part. However, not putting it in the car, I don't know if everything's, I don't know if they're welded on right or nothing. Now these are the new tracks that I just bought. These just came in today, which I'm not going to be using now because unbeknownst to me, when I undone my brand new side glass kit, it came with all that stuff. So the holes absolutely line up in the tracks to those. So that's pretty impressive. But this is the one that came on the new side glass that I just slid down in the door, and I'm getting ready to grease this up and put it on. When you put this on there and you line up the two holes, these don't nowhere near line up. So that's interesting. Now the other thing about it is I took the screws out of that. It has two little screws on each end, you know, and I took them out, and all they had in was these little things here. Now originals, they have screws, but they have star washers on them so they don't back out. So I've got a whole bin, well, not a whole bin, but I've got a plastic little bin up there, a little slide tray. I have a bunch of those brand new screws for these window tracks for Tri-5s with the star washers on them. So I get them out and I go to put them in there and they won't go in there. These are metric. The ones I have are standard. So that's a pisser. So luckily I have a thing of star washers. A set, basically, a kit. So I'll be able to use some of those. And I will tell you, if you're going to restore a car, one of these cars, there's star washers everywhere in this car. So my recommendation would be to buy a set. They don't have to be stainless. But anyway, this is a multi-set, and it comes from sizes number 4 to 1/2 inch. And I think I got this off of eBay for like 12 bucks or something. It was very, very inexpensive, and these are stainless. So, you know, I've got number 6s right there I can use, or number 8s. I'm not sure what size that is yet, but of course it's metric, but they should still work. All right, well, I got the door glass slid down in there. And so now I need to get my grease mixed up and spread it on the track and stuff and slide it in there, and then I'll be able to test the door glass. Then there's lots of other little adjustments I have to do, but if you've never messed with a hardtop, these are a little bit more intricate than a sedan. You gotta basically adjust the height that it goes and all that kind of stuff. They have these little kickouts in these tracks right here, or window channel. There's one here and there's one over here. And it takes these stops that are adjustable that screw in here, and I've already cleaned the threads out from all the paint. I'd have probably ended up tearing the screw up trying to put them in there had I not have cleaned that out with a tap. But these are 8/32 seconds, so you need to put those in there. But they have a little, basically a bolt with a round rubber pad on the bottom of it, and they're adjustable up and down, and that is how you control your height on your door glass. So, and then there's also a roller that goes in here. I'm getting to it. All right, so I did get lucky at my local O'Reilly's, and they had some 1500 grit Velcro DA paper, so now I can finish my stainless trim up. However, I wanted 2000 grit because I've been doing it by hand with 2000 on, you know, from pieces like this, and, you know, DA-ing it with that and then go into this by hand. So I wanted to get some 2000 grit DA paper as well, Velcro, and then after I do the 15, go to 2000, try to skip a hand sanding step because it takes so long. So these cost, I have a painter's discount and a mechanic's discount at my local O'Reilly's. These are like $1.51 or something each. For the 2000 grit, same brand, it was $8 a sheet. That has to be a mistake. I don't know why there's that much difference, price difference, but it was $8 and something per sheet. So I was like, no thanks. So I went ahead and got some regular 2000 and I'll sand it myself. I think they've got a glitch in the system or something, because, I mean, if somebody goes down and pays that much money for one sheet, I feel sorry for you. I'm not buying an entire box because I don't need that many. I mean, that box is that thick. I don't know how many's in there, but this is 10 sheets and it's that thin. So I don't want to spend that much money because I have more stuff to do, and I may need the money that I have to buy something else. You know what I mean? Something else small. All right, guys, I got the door glasses bolted into the car. There's a lot of adjustment I got to do, but I got to wait until I get all the other stuff put in, the flippers and everything, quarter glasses and all that, and then adjust everything. But the windows do roll up and down. I've just got quite a bit of work to do. Right now I've got weather strip adhesive drying on these little rubber stops here. Those cushions just fall right off there, so I always put weather strip adhesive on them. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and upload this video. I gotta put some other video clips with it and get it uploaded, and then you're probably not gonna see anything from me again for a couple more days, but hopefully the car will be a little bit further along in the next video than you're seeing it now. But it's kind of funny, if I don't have a video out in a few days, I get a text or a phone call from my older brother wanting to know where his video's at. So here's your video. Thanks for watching, guys.